Hi and welcome to the weekly update. Today we are starting a series on building Stargrave terrain. This will be the first video in I don't know how many, at least 2, maybe more than that. I am also trying out my overhead camera setup and doing voiceovers, so if you have any feedback on that, please put them in the comment section below, and let's talk you through the build. So first off, we take our foam core. This will be the base of the building. Basically, we are doing one strip 4.5 centimeters wide. This will be the height of the building. Just taking care, cutting as straight as possible and getting nice clean edges. You really need a good sharp knife for doing this. So now that we have our 4.5 centimeter wide strip, we cut it into 4 lengths of 7 centimeters. And we are also going to cut out small triangles just to use as supports. And here we have the base. The base basically has. I drew a square on the base just to see where the walls are going to go, just as guides. And this is 2mm hardboard. It's a backing for a picture frame from IKEA. So yeah, very easy to cut by hand. And when we have cut out the base, we are going to chamfer all the edges and make them slightly rounded at the corners, but nothing major really. As you can see, we have one side that is a bit longer from the actual building to the edge, and that will be our front side of the building. So just to make it so the door fits also, since the door will be on the basically outside of the building. So and now we are moving on to making the tiny triangles and gluing them onto the walls. So this is a trick I've used for many years just to get the right angles for everything. So you just basically cut out a tiny square and then cut the square in half just to make basically a triangle. Not really, but almost. And these are glued onto the walls, both on this side and on the bottom, just to make everything nice and square. And the triangles are just glued with ordinary PVA wood glue. Nothing fancy. You don't want to glue foam board or foam core with super glue or cyanoacrylate glues or anything with the anything that basically can melt plastic. That you don't want to do. So PVA glue works excellently for this. And here we have all the walls with their supports, and we just continue with our wood glue and glue the one of the walls to the base first, trying to get that as straight as possible. And here we also use the guidelines that I drew on the base. And now we're just pushing the wall down, and in a second or two I think I'm going to move the wall because I put it in the wrong place. Of course, that's the first thing that you do. So just move it a little bit and set it down straight and continue gluing all the walls. There's nothing really rocket science about this. Just trying to be as neat as possible. And now we're moving on to the basically what I use for covering the walls. This is, I think it's a kitchen cupboard liner thing. It's basically some kind of fabric with a very thin cork layer on it. And it's very easy to work with, and it gives a very good result in covering up the edges of the foam board. Usually when you work with foam board, it has two very distinct sides. You have the paper side, and then you have the side with the actual plastic foam core, and you want to cover that basically. And so we cut out a strip that is slightly shorter than the distance around the building. I think I did, it's 30 centimeters around. I think I did the strip 29 centimeters. And that last little centimeter we will cover with a door. So yeah, same as before, loads of PVA glue and stick the cover down, trying to be as neat as possible. I did chamfer the corners of the building just a tiny bit. I just took the tiniest sliver off the corner just to help the cork cover to go around the corners. I don't know if it helped, but it felt good. Now we move on to cutting out the door and the door frame. So this is the cardboard that also came with a picture frame. It's the, I don't know what it's called, that goes around the picture, in the picture frame. I try to use basically mostly common materials when I build things. I don't buy, like, go out and buy really expensive dedicated things. I try to reuse things that I have at home, basically. And this type of cardboard has a slight texture to it, so we get that basically for free, which I like. The problem with it is that it's not that wide, so you can't use it for everything. So here we are going to cut out basically the door frame, and then we are going to glue the door onto the door frame. So here we are gluing on the door frame. We are, as usual, just using PVA, and we try to get it more or less in the middle of the wall. You could measure this. I didn't. It's just basically a control building or something, so you don't really need to be that detailed. Just make it uh, look neat and tidy. And on the door frame we glue our door, trying to get that in the middle of the door frame. So you can see the door and the door frame sticks out a bit, and that's why we did the base a tiny bit longer on one side. And just press it down and remove the squeeze out. I just take a scrap of cardboard and just remove the squeeze out from the corners. And here we have the roof. This is also just same type of cardboard, and we glue the roof onto the walls. And we still use the wood glue. And we just try to put the roof on so it sticks out evenly on each side. So we move it around a little bit just to make it nice and squarish. And here we tidy up the edges with the same scrap cardboard that we used before. And that was basically it. We are going to do a part 2 when we start detailing this, adding ladders and things on the roof and such. So yeah, join me next time for part 2. If you have any comments or questions or anything, put them in the comment section below, and I'll see you on Sunday.
1, 2, 3, 4.